I was talking to a friend of mine today about my summer plans, and I'm kind of curious to know what all of you have going on with your summer. If you've made any summer plans, are y'all taking a vacay? Are y'all working your lives away like me? I'm not taking any summer vacations. It's not high school anymore. I'm a full-grown adult most of the time, and I have to work. So no summer vacays for me, but I do have summer goals. And that's what I was talking to my friend about, was some summer goals of mine. And one of my big summer goals this year is to find more pretty places. I have been drawn, my soul has been drawn to, my soul is being enticed by the world around me to get out there, find some pretty places. I want to hike, like it's kind of funny to hear myself say that because excuse me. I say that I haven't been a super active person my whole life. I haven't been super active, but I've always had an interest in activity, physical activity. I've always had an interest. Even growing up, I was doing yoga and Pilates from a young age. Not like I was 4 doing gymnastics, nothing crazy like that. Although I'm not saying anything bad about that. I think that's amazing. People who get into gymnastics. I'd be much more flexible today if I was in gymnastics as a kid. So, anyway, yeah, so I've always been drawn to physical activity. But it is kind of funny to hear myself say, like, I want to go hiking. But it's less about the physical activity. It's less of the component of, like, I need to do more things that make me fit. I need to be fit. I need to move my body more. I need to lose weight. So it's less from that older mentality of mine, how I felt about physical activity. And it's more toward, I want to be in nature and I want to walk a trail and, like, feel the trail. I want to feel the trail. I want to feel the trail. Just run my hands down the dirt. No. But as funny as it sounds, it's like, when you walk and, like, you can feel the vibrations, and then of course trails are going to be like rocky or dirty, okay. Yeah, my brain took that and really ran with it. But yeah, that's one of my summer goals. I want to find some more pretty places, and I want to hike, and I want to sit by some water. I was going to say like a lake or pond. It doesn't matter. I want to sit by some water. I want to watch the sunset. I would love to do some camping. Another friend of mine lives in Arkansas. A couple of friends of mine live in Arkansas. And now that I have a car, I'm right next door. It's a very quick drive. Quick in terms of, like, traveling in a vehicle to another state. And Arkansas is beautiful, and they're already talking to me about, like, camping and trails, and I'm just like, yes, this is what my soul is craving. My soul's craving so much of just nature, of getting out there, finding pretty places, just seeing the world. Your girl wants to see the world. But we're going to start really small, and I'm going to start by just seeing my own state because financial reasons. One day, hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to travel outside of the country. I'm going to the Bahamas. Oh, I do have a summer vacation plan. Oh my God, I completely forgot. I keep forgetting that I'm going to the Bahamas. Never mind. I do have a summer vacation plan. It's just been such a long time since I've had a summer vacay. Since I've been able to be like, yeah, summer vacation. Like, I don't take vacations hardly at all. I don't travel enough. So I think that's another thing that I'm like, my soul is craving. It's just like traveling. I want to travel. I want to see new places, not only pretty places, but new places. But yeah, I do have a summer vacation planned. It's for my birthday. It's a birthday vacation. It's in August. I'm going to the Bahamas with a bestie of mine. Oh my gosh, I'm such a girl right now. I'm like, but no. I'm gonna rewatch this and be like, "Ugh." But that's okay. I cringe at myself all the time. And that just, I love that. I love that. Tell me you don't love cringing at yourself. We literally watch reaction videos of like try not to cringe. We humans love it. We love it. So being able to cringe at myself, I'm like, you know what? That's cool. I'll cringe at myself and then be like, that's totally fine. I'm like, that's awesome. Because it means I'm like genuinely, it means I'm being a legit human being. Because humans are cringy. We're cringy. We do cringy shit. Like, we're just funny and weird and wacky. Yeah. Yeah. But that, yeah, it's fun. It's just like, yeah. When I cringe at myself, I'm like, you were being a total human right there. And that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, so I'm going to the Bahamas with a bestie for my birthday this summer. I'm super excited about that. It's like we're taking a cruise ship there, and then we're staying, I think, 4 nights at one of the resorts. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think, like, it has been so long since I've done something like that. It has been so long, and I've never done anything, never had a vacation like that. Like, I've gone to Disneyland a couple of times when I was a kid. And then of course, I've just had like, I've done like little fun things in other states. So I went to Florida with one of my old high school best friends. We went to Florida together. I went with him and his family. That was fun. I've been to California several times. I have family out there. But I haven't really like done something like this in a long time where I've like stayed. I don't think I've ever stayed at a resort. Well, maybe one time in Louisiana, I think. Maybe once. Maybe one time. But anyway, I've got summer plans, guys. I have summer plans. I don't not only have summer plans, I have summer goals. I have summer plans and goals. We're doing all the things this summer. Yay! Not all the things, but more things I've done in a summer period than in a long time. So I want to hear about your summer plans. Do you have any vacays planned? Do you have any summer goals? Because goals are different than plans. Like a vacation is like, yeah, we're going to do this thing and go do this. But like a goal is kind of just like, I'm sure y'all know the difference between plans and goals. And I'm over here being like, let me explain it to you. But that's the podcast. I just love to give context to everything that I'm saying, to make sure as much as humanly possible that people are understanding it, because I know people interpret things different. Everyone interprets everything differently, so I really try to explain things so it's not misinterpreted, so you do understand it. I try as best I can. I went out last night with a friend, and I was telling him that because he'd asked me a question. And it was like kind of a simple question, but for me, I had to like tell the entire story behind it. I had to give all the context and then answer the question. But don't you love that? Maybe you don't. Maybe that was a question to myself. But no, like, I love that. When I talk to people, like, give me the context. Give me the context. Tell me the story. Tell me your experience. Tell me how it made you feel. Like, walk me through a little piece of your life, please. That is such a beautiful way to connect with somebody. It's so wonderful to hear about people's lives. And it's funny because I was just now talking to my friend. I just texted my friend talking about this, about how one of my favorite shifts in my adulthood has been how I've gone from like being antisocial to being antisocial, like growing up, and kind of, yeah. I think when I hit maybe my early 20s is when I really started craving socialization. I was really just like, you know what? I want to talk to people. And saying that and thinking that to myself, it was like, whoa. Yo, we've made some changes in our lives because we've never felt this way before. We've never felt like we want to be around people. It's like we've never felt like actually going out of our way to not only be around people, but to... Sorry, I thought that... Oh, it's my head. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't bother y'all. I saw it out of my peripheral vision, the shadow of my head, because I have my sunset light on today. But yeah, the shadow of my head over there. And I was like, I was moving my hands because I thought it was the shadow of my hands first. And then I was like, wait, what is it? It's my head. Hopefully that doesn't bother y'all. Now that I pointed it out, Ellie, if you would have just not pointed it out. No. Welcome back to the bedside table where Ellie sits in her bed and literally goes everywhere. This is what happens when I, like, if you notice, I don't have my notebook with me for this episode. I've kind of been winging my episodes a little bit for the past few episodes. And there might be like a couple of them where you're like, okay, yeah, she's definitely just winging it. But I like sitting down a little bit unstructured sometimes to talk about things. It does mean that I'm kind of going everywhere and things might be a little crazy on your end. You might be like, we were just talking about this, now we're talking about this, and now we're talking about this. But I also think it's kind of fun. We cover a lot of ground, don't we? It's just my brain. But I'm learning to love my brain. I'm giving my brain a big hug every time I just let it kind of think how it wants to think. That's what I imagine. That my brain is just like, oh, yes, finally we get to get all of this, not nonsense out, but all of this stuff out and talk about it. And this is like part of why I do my podcast, because I do just get to sit down and kind of unload a lot of, not like venting about my life. That's where I've failed before. I'm more so just kind of talking about a lot of things at the same time. We can only talk about one thing at a time, but you get what I mean, I'm sure. Okay. Anyway, I was talking about what I was just talking about with my friend before I started this podcast. I was texting him, telling him how I've just really enjoyed the shift of actually wanting to be social, because I'm much more sociable now. Because when I was telling him about one of my summer goals being that I want to hike and find some pretty places, he was just like, well, you're going to have to meet some like seasoned hikers to, like, they'll know the good spots. And I was like, that just gives me an opportunity to meet cool new people. And I just, having this awareness about myself and being able to, like, when I say something like that and then like, or like send a text message like that and then be able to look at it and be like, huh, that's me. Like, I'm excited to meet new people. That's so cool. I don't know if that ever, does that happen for you? Where you say something, it just organically, you say something, you send a text, you have a reaction, and you pick up on it and you notice like, oh, so this is who we are right now. Or like this, okay, this is who we're becoming. Okay. I like this. That's how I know. I'll tell you, having that awareness, first of all, of just being able to observe my organic reactions and the things that I say and do organically, being able to observe that and be like thumbs upping that. And it's just like, for me, it means I don't want to necessarily, well, yeah, we can say that and I'll explain it, but it means like I'm on the right track with myself. It means like the work that I'm putting in for myself, for like the healing, which is, we talked about that. Excuse me. If you watched or listened to my previous episode, I talked about like what is healing, what it means, how I've experienced it. Very good episode if you want to check it out. It's the one right before this, but yeah, that's how I know like I'm on the right track with myself when it comes to like my healing, when it comes to the self-work that I've been doing, when I can observe my behaviors and my actions and my words and the person that I'm being, when I have this observation about myself organically and I'm just like, hey, yeah, we like that. And it goes the same way, like it goes the same way for things like behaviors and things that I say that I don't like about myself. And it's not coming from a place of like judgment and criticism where it has come from before. For like most of my like growing up, that's where it came from. But once I started learning how to approach it differently and observe myself differently and just have like this awareness about myself and have a bit of a detached view, which if you've done any kind of healing, or if you've been like interested in like self-healing and self-work, you might have heard about being the observer and taking a seat. Basically, what is it? It's the term is like being an observer, but there's like a metaphor for it. Like you're not in the driver's seat, you're in the passenger seat. Nope. I think I'm thinking about like, it's like you're watching yourself on a screen, like you're taking a seat in a, did y'all hear my stomach just now? Dang. Taking a seat in a movie theater and you're watching yourself on the screen. I think that's the metaphor. Anyway, it's just being an observer to yourself, like being able to be in an observant position. That allows you to, oh my goodness gracious. That will allow you to pick up on things in a non-judgmental and not in a not a critical, non-judgmental and a non-critical way. So you can actually just be like, oh, okay, how do we feel about this? What do we think about this behavior? Is this something that we want to be doing or want to be saying? Is this how we want to be behaving? And so for me, like I said before, when I notice those things that I'm like, yes, I love that. It's just kind of like, not only is it confirmation for me that the work that I'm doing really is paying off and it really is important, and the healing that I'm doing does matter, even though it's slow. It's a slow journey. I'm okay with that. I've been learning how to be okay with that. It has taken me time to be okay with that. But not only is there that, not only is there that thing, because I lost my train of thought is what happened. Yeah, so not only is it a confirmation for me when I notice something good about myself, and I'm like, yes, not only is it confirmation that the healing, I'm doing the work and it's working, it's also, now I really don't know what I was going to say. Crap. I went too far ahead of myself in my brain and I forgot. Not forgot, I went too far, and then like my brain just like took a walk. My brain took a hike. Hey, at least we're on track. At least me and my brain are thinking the same. My brain was like, you know what? I kind of want to take a hike right now. I'm like, brain, we're doing a podcast, brain. What was I going to say? Okay, anyway, I know what I was going to say about, okay, I'll just keep going with what I was going to say after that. But so being able to observe myself and confirm, when I'm able to notice behaviors that I want to keep and behaviors that I don't. So yeah, it works both ways. Like being able to just confirm with yourself, like, okay, yeah, I like this behavior. I want to keep this behavior. It works the other way too, but being in the observer position helps you be less critical about it. So you can actually change it. So you can actually feel okay about like making a change with that. Because if you come at yourself when you do something bad, quote unquote bad, when you do something that you don't like, that you don't want to be doing, or when you say something you don't want to say, like we've all been there. We do something impulsively, we do something out of anger or, out of feeling, or we say something we don't mean, but you can't take it back once you say it, and like you regret it, and it's just like we beat ourselves up for those things. I mean, understandably so, especially if that's basically probably how maybe the majority of us are raised, I think, depending on where you come from or where you grew up, what part of the world you're in. But, excuse me, but if you're raised in an environment where you're scolded for doing something wrong, for a bad behavior, and then nothing else, that's the key. If you're just scolded, right? If you're told that's bad, don't do it. But you're not told why, right? Right? You're not told why that's not, like, that. You're not told why you're not supposed to do that. You're not told why it's a bad thing for you to be doing. You're just told, don't do that, that's bad. And I think that teaches you, especially when you're a kid, you probably just interpret that as like, oh, I'm bad. Because no one's explaining to you, no, you're not bad. You're just doing something that you shouldn't be doing, and here's why you shouldn't be doing it. I'm going to be a really good parent, I think. I just thought about that. I started thinking about myself as a parent. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a stinking fine job at being a mama. A mama. I'm watching Bridgerton. The new season of Bridgerton. But yeah. So I don't remember a whole lot about like my childhood, like being a kid, but yeah, I just, so much of my like adolescence was me just like seeking to understand why things were happening. Seriously. And it would piss off my dad because I'd just be like, it's like that quote unquote annoying kid who's just like, why to everything, that basically becomes like a joke and you laugh about it. It's like, why? But I was genuinely just like, but why are you doing this to me? I would ask my dad because, like, let's say I would ask him if I could go do something or if I could go stay the night with a friend and he says no. I would say, okay, why can't I? Because for me, I'm coming up with reasons for, it's also just me being like a little brat sometimes, but genuinely I was a lot of the time coming from a place of like trying to understand why it is that this is your decision today. Why is this your decision today? What's preventing me from being able to go? Like, do we have something planned that I need to be here for? Like, do I need to be here for any reason? And so I was always like fishing and always like trying to dig for understanding, trying to find reasons for why my dad was making the choice that he was making. Yes, part of it was me just being a bratty teenager, but there was a part of that was really a part of me that was really seeking to understand why this choice today. Because with my dad, it was very flip-floppy. It was like, sometimes it would be yes, sometimes it would be no, sometimes he would put up a fight about it, sometimes he wouldn't, because yeah, I would always be seeking some kind of understanding in my adolescence to just understand like, okay, but why? Why this choice? What's the reason behind why you're doing what you're doing? Why you're saying what you're saying? And so, yeah, if you grew up in an environment where you just weren't given much explanation, if any explanation at all, or any reasoning for why things were happening, why your guardians or your caregivers were treating you the way they were treating you, why you were being punished for certain things, you end up really self-critical and judgmental about your actions, especially when they're quote unquote bad things. So it really takes, in my experience, it takes not only understanding that, well, you grew up in a place where you were just told what was wrong, basically. You were just told what was wrong with you. Because you weren't given a reason. And I guess for me, the reason, because I was always seeking some kind of reason, I had to land on something. And I guess a lot of the time I just landed on, well, I just must be like crap then. I just must be. And also that's just like young. That's just young thinking. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with that. It's just when you're younger and you have that kind of mind, your mind is still figuring things out. It's not grown. It's not mature. It's just, yeah, you're going to think childlike because you're a child. And you're legitimately going to interpret it as like, well, something's wrong with me then. And I think I'm kind of discovering that that's where a lot of it came from. It's just, I got in trouble for a lot of things. Not necessarily in trouble, but I was just all the time told, like, I shouldn't act like this. I shouldn't wear that. I shouldn't want this. I shouldn't like that. And it's like, but why? And I was never given a reason, because I don't think there was one growing up in the dysfunctional family I grew up in. I don't think there was, and if there was a reason, I don't think it was a good enough reason for me to be treated that way. I think it was just like, I grew up in an environment that was very unaccepting of differences and very unaccepting of like the weird and the strange, of the cool things of life that anything cool in this world is just going to be weird and strange. Those like little quirks that we find about people or we learn about people. It's like, those are the best things. And the little like mess ups in life, like, I think those are the best things. The little failures. Yeah. Just kind of the chaos of it all, but in a good way. The good chaos of things. But yeah, like the weird and the strange are amazing. It's amazing. And I've had to teach myself that. And I've had to really learn how to grasp that concept and put it toward myself, of like, the weird and the strange parts of you are also very cool, very amazing. But yeah. So it takes understanding. It takes understanding your behaviors. So, like I was saying, if you grew up in a similar situation where you were just kind of punished for things and weren't really given any good reason for it, you probably might have interpreted that as like, oh, well, it's just me then. And so you're going to end up being this like self-critical and judgmental adult. So when you do mess up or you do something wrong, you do a bad thing, of course, we're going to revert back to what we've been conditioned to do, is just scold ourselves and not give any reason behind it. Just be mean to ourselves. Just be mean to you. And I'm not necessarily saying that your caregivers were mean. Like punishments, I'm not saying punishments are bad, but I think there's a really big difference between, I think that there are good punishments and bad punishments. I think we can probably all agree on that one. But yeah, so in my experience, I've just, by taking the observer position about my behaviors, it helps me find that understanding that I'm always trying to find. It helps me find that understanding for myself so I can lean away from being critical and judgmental and lean more toward just understanding myself, understanding why I act a certain way or say certain things. And by understanding, that is what helps me find a way to change the behavior in a healthy way or to keep the behavior. It just helps me find a way to do something about it, other than just make myself feel bad about myself. So, yeah.
You got me feeling a vibe. You got me feeling a vibe. Like how could I not think of you? You got me feeling a vibe. You got me feeling a vibe. Like how could I not think of you?
I think I mentioned this in my last episode. I think I mentioned that I know I mentioned that my moped got stolen, but I don't know if I mentioned that I got a car. Was I car shopping in my last episode, or did I get a car? I think I might have been car shopping. I don't remember, but anyway. Excuse me, I'm very burpy today. Anyway, I got a car. She's a cute little Chevy Spark. She has manual lock. locks. So I have to literally, I don't have a little key fob thing. I have to lock it manually when I get out of my car. And she doesn't have cruise control, and she doesn't have power windows. But she's really great on gas mileage. $25 to fill up the tank. It is a small tank, but as of right now, I've been driving her really conservatively to slowly tick up my average for the gas mileage. So right now she's sitting at like 36 miles to the gallon. Yeah, something like that. 36, a little over 36. We're trying to get our way up to 40. Okay? We're trying to get up there. When I started, it was like at 32, I think. So I've gone up a few miles already. I don't know how accurate those things are. I hope that they're accurate. Because, yeah, I want to save me some gas. Yes, please. But, yeah, she's really good on gas mileage. She's just a basic, cute little car. She's perfect for me. Perfect. I think it's funny that I went from a 2-wheel moped. So, like, the kind of the tiniest thing you can be driving on the road. And then I went to like I did get an upgrade. I got a car. Hello, it's still a car, but she's little car, but she's perfect for me. And I'm so happy. That's why I'm really happy about my goals that I was sharing with you, like my traveling and finding pretty places, because now I have a means to do so. I did before too, like I had my moped, but this is going to be much easier for me to get around, and I can finally drive on the highway. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. And everyone at work knew that I was trying to get a car, and I had a few coworkers, even my boss, they were just like excited for me and happy for me because they're like, is that your little car out there? I was like, yes. And one of my coworkers, like, he gave me a high five and he was like excited for me. And I love that so much. It makes such a difference who you work with. A job can definitely be made or broken. Made or broken. Make or break. That's what I was trying to say. But yes, the people that you work with can definitely make or break a job. And I've experienced this in my professional life. Throughout my entire professional life. It really does make a difference who you work with. And my little store that I work at, and my little crew, my little team, we're perfect. There was this moment a couple of days ago. I was at work and we got 2 new ice cream flavors in. It's like a raspberry cheesecake, white chocolate, something like that. And then we got a sopapilla something, I don't know. But it's a sopapilla ice cream. They're both really good. More people were a fan of the cheesecake one, like my coworkers. More of them were a fan of the cheesecake one. I like them both. I love ice cream, I love sweets, but I also really love sopapilla. So they're both delicious. But there was this moment where we were all trying the new ice cream flavors, and one of my managers, he's just to give some context, he's this little African man. He's from Morocco, and he's such a joy to work with because he's so goofy. He's so goofy, playful, and he just makes it fun for everybody. And he's really good at his job. He's been at this job for almost 20 years. So he's really good at his job. He does everything really well. He's a wonderful team player. But he makes it more than that just by like being himself, like who he is makes it more fun to work there, makes it more enjoyable. And I love that so much. But yeah, there was this little moment. I just wanted to give some context of like who he is and kind of give you an idea. But yeah, he's this little African man who's goofy and playful already. And he went over to try the new ice cream flavors. And so I just see him he's walking back after he's trying the ice cream flavors. And he tries the white chocolate raspberry first. And then he's like walking back into the kitchen, and I'm standing in the kitchen because I was asking him, like, I wanted to see his reaction, like see which one he liked. And so he was walking back and he was trying the sopapilla one. He's just walking towards me. He's like trying it. And he's just like, I like the cheesecake. And I don't know what it was about that moment. My brain just like took a screenshot of it because it was just this little moment where this little man was just trying this ice cream. Then he's like, I like the cheesecake one. And for some reason, it was just that little subtle, I don't know what it was about that moment for me. It was just like, that is just so cute. That is just so sweet. Wholesome, I guess. All of us are just here trying the new ice cream flavors. We're all excited about it. And we're like making our decision about which one we like. Do we like the cheesecake one? Do we like sopapilla? Which one do we like more? And just coming from him, I don't know, just because of like who he is and the experience that I've had working with him, it's been very pleasant. I don't know, that moment for me just really like struck a chord because it was like, this is my boss and I love it. And I was talking with one of my coworkers, I think yesterday, and we were talking about the other stores and how they are. And I was because some of them are high volume stores. Ours is not. We do get pretty busy at night, but we're not a high volume store. But yeah, I was talking to him and I was just like, I like our little store. And he was like, me too. Yeah. Cause it's just, I think we know. And he brought up the manager that I was talking about. And he's like, I like working with him. And I was like, oh yeah, he makes it fun. But we have just like this, I don't know. It's just like, I don't want to say family vibe because I don't like it when jobs are like, we are family here. It's like, okay, don't think so. But it doesn't really, I don't know. It does kind of feel a bit family-ish, but it's more of just like, it's just genuine. It's just good people. There we go. Just good people. Most of them are just good people to work with. And we're all kind of like ourselves. And I really like that. Like of course there's like, people talk about people. It's just inevitable. You're not going to be able to avoid gossip. It's just, I don't think necessarily, I think it's probably more prevalent in certain positions and depending on who the people are. Depending on who the people are. If you get a lot of gossipers, working as, one team, it's going to be a lot of gossip. But if you have, people who gossip here and there, it's not so bad. But yeah, so inevitably there's going to be gossip. There's going to be some workplace drama. But yeah, overall, at my job with my team, overall, I want to say it's one of the best teams that I've had professionally. And working in fast food, I've worked in fast food quite a bit. I think fast food's probably been the main thing that I've worked in. I've done some other things, but fast food's probably the main one. And I've had a couple of other really good crews in fast food too. And it's just, I'm telling you, the people you work with, it totally makes a difference. And it can make a job more enjoyable, less enjoyable. It can make it less stressful, more stressful. Genuinely, it can make or break a job. But I wanted to talk about that little moment of my manager, just the little man eating ice cream, just like, I like the cheesecake. I was like, okay. It just really made my heart warm and fuzzy. And then just talking with my coworker yesterday about, how we both just we like our little store. I do. And I'm happy for that because it's been hard. Guys, it's been hard. It has been hard for me to stick with a job, I'll be honest. Because I just, traditional jobs, it's difficult. I'm a creator through and through. And I've been learning that you got to do both until, fingers crossed, hopefully one day you can just create, you can just do what you want to do. That is the goal. But for now, I'm glad that I've been learning to adapt, and I've been learning to find my peace in a way, find my peace with working a traditional job and also being a creator, but finding peace with I found a good place to be in. I found a good store with good people for the most part. Technically there's just one person. I was going to say there's multiple people. Technically there's just one person that I struggle working with, that I struggle to work with. But other than that, I'm really genuinely grateful for this job and to be in the position I'm in and to be working with the people that I'm working with. Yeah, because, again, I'll say it again, it makes a difference. But yeah, I just felt like bringing that up, talking about that a little bit, because it was just a happy little moment. And there was this Instagram post I came across from, I think it's J.B. Copeland. I could be wrong there, but I really like his videos. I like his style of videos too. But I came across one of his posts came across my feed, and it was talking about how he had believed there was going to be this grandiose moment that made life seem worth living for him. There's going to be this big moment where he was just life is worth living. And it's just, in the video, he was just it's in the subtleties. Over time, he's learned it's in the subtleties. It's in the little things. And I've known that for a while. Sometimes it's just a bit harder to appreciate the little things, especially when you've got maybe some big things that aren't really going for you. I had problems with my health for years. Dysfunction because of how I grew up. And there was just a lot. There was a lot that I was facing mentally and physically. And those are big things. So if you're facing a lot of big things, it really is going to be hard to start noticing the little things. But I think that helps. I think that's a really good place to begin if you are going through some big tough things, especially on a consistent basis. To start, just start really small with the little things. It's funny. But yeah, I give that advice. I think that's my best piece of advice, because I give it to almost anybody who's coming to me asking about something. I think because that's my go-to piece of advice. It's if you're struggling and life is just feeling ugh, and you are just having a really tough time, just think of just find one little thing about your day. Just one tiny thing about your day. It could be the sky is blue, and I like that. Skies are pretty blue today. It can be I had my favorite snack today, or the snack that I'm eating right now is good. I had a good snack today. It can be I don't know, maybe your shoes feel a little better than they normally do. Maybe your shoes fit more better. But seriously, it can be I was going to say stupidest. It can be just the silliest little thing. But that's all it takes to get started with noticing the subtleties of life that make the big, tough things more tolerable until we're able to hopefully face them and get through them. So, yeah, that's my greatest piece of advice, I'll tell you what. It's my favorite piece of advice. It's all about the little things. But it takes starting slow, starting small. Well, Yeah, wow. Good episode, guys. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of The Bedside Table. I'm your host, Ellie, and it's been a lot of fun today. I had a lot of fun. I was really looking forward to recording today. I got a couple of comments on my last podcast episode that really just put a pep in. Oopsies, Ellie forgot that she didn't have enough time on her camera roll to record 47 minutes worth of videos. So she cut out, but I'm here, future Ellie, to fix that little issue. It was the end of the episode anyway. I was just about to mention a couple of comments that I had received on my previous podcast episode that made me look forward to recording this episode. So for those of you, the couple of people who commented, if you're watching this episode, thank you for the comments. It genuinely does mean the world to me, and it made my day. And it made sitting down and recording this episode that much better, because it's like, hey, people are watching and listening to this, and they're taking something away from it, and that's it right there. That is it right there. Puts a big old cheesy smile on my face, but honestly, yeah. So that's all I was going to say at the end. But hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of The Bedside Table, and I can't wait to be back next week. And I'll see you then. Bye.
The songs, it's too early days, and I can't seem to keep